I've always found about the British, they don't need much help. They can take care of themselves very well.
Trump understands, as does a large part of the American people, that freedom of expression is the foundation of democracy.
Britain faces a potential economic nightmare as Trump's America threatens permanent 10% tariffs on UK exports. Economic experts warn this could wipe out 0.6% of our GDP, effectively erasing our recent growth in one fell swoop.
They can take care of themselves, but if they need help, I'll always be with the British, okay? I'll always be with them, but they don't need help.
But look, in a moment of real danger around the world, this relationship matters more than ever.
Meanwhile, what's our Prime Minister doing? Keir Starmer hasn't even spoken to Trump since the announcement. He's busy reassuring us about strong relationships, while our manufacturing sector stares down the barrel of American protectionism. Is this the leadership Britain needs right now? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
The King's relationship with Trump has proved useful so far. So what do we know about Starmer's visit to the US?
Tell them 150% tariff, plus we're not going to do business with them.
While Britain teeters on the edge of an economic cliff, our Prime Minister seems more interested in polishing his diplomatic credentials than safeguarding British jobs. Let's be perfectly clear about what's actually happening. Trump's America is preparing to deliver a devastating economic blow, and Starmer's response has been woefully inadequate. The situation is far more serious than the government is letting on. Kevin Hassett, Trump's senior economic advisor and long-time ally, has delivered a sobering assessment that should send shivers down Whitehall's corridors. I think everybody expects that the 10% baseline tariff is going to be the baseline, Hassett warned unequivocally.
US and UK political relationship, it continues to headline the news this week. First, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer met with Donald Trump.
You have done very well over the years, haven't you?
We have. I'm very proud of our country. And but we've also always been there backing each other up.
He didn't mince words about what it would take to change course. Only an extraordinary deal would persuade Trump to lower these punitive measures. This isn't mere negotiation posturing. It's economic reality staring us in the face. The implications for Britain's economy are catastrophic. A 0.6% reduction in GDP might sound abstract, but translate that into reality. It would effectively erase all our recent economic growth, plunging us back into stagnation. Our automotive sector, aerospace industry and manufacturing base, already struggling to find their footing after Brexit, now face the very real possibility of being completely priced out of American markets. What makes this situation particularly galling is the contrast between Starmer's feeble response and Priti Patel's demonstration of actual leadership on another front. While Patel has boldly confronted Hamas's outrageous legal challenge, calling it precisely what it is, a stain on our democracy, our Prime Minister drones on about strong relationships while our economic future hangs in the balance.
That the United Kingdom has a true friend in the Oval Office, and it was so good to see the bust of Winston Churchill back in its rightful...
Political developments between the US and the UK, well, they have been of definite interest to royal observers.
Inside sources paint an even bleaker picture than the official line. A senior UK government official speaking to The Times has acknowledged that hopes of fully scrapping these tariffs are fading, a diplomatic euphemism for "we're in serious trouble." The source highlighted the day-to-day fluctuations in the situation, underscoring just how unpredictable Trump's approach to trade can be. Yet amidst this uncertainty, Starmer hasn't even picked up the phone to speak directly with Trump. This isn't simply a failure of diplomatic strategy, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what matters most to British citizens right now.
We did more deregulation than any president in history by far, not even close, with Republicans in Congress.
Interested in that information being public, meaning how does President Trump right now has a lot of different issues he's dealing with.
While diplomatic niceties might play well in certain circles, they don't put food on tables or protect jobs in Sunderland, Birmingham or Glasgow. Ordinary Britons don't care about the diplomatic dance, they care about their livelihoods. Beyond our economic woes, a moral battle now unfolds in Britain's courtrooms that speaks volumes about Starmer's leadership vacuum. Hamas, an organisation responsible for unspeakable atrocities, is attempting to lawyer its way out of its terrorist designation, arguing that our terrorism definition is simply too broad. This isn't merely a procedural legal matter, it's a calculated assault on the very foundations of British security and values. The audacity of Hamas's legal challenge stretches credulity. Their lawyers are actually arguing that the Terrorism Act's definition could equally apply to Israeli forces, Ukrainian defenders, and even Britain's own military. This preposterous comparison seeks to create a false equivalence between a terrorist organisation and legitimate armed forces operating under international law. Riverway Law, a South London immigration firm, has taken up Hamas's cause, drawing fierce condemnation from those who understand what's truly at stake. Former Home Secretary Priti Patel didn't mince words about this legal manoeuvre, calling it a stain on our democracy and accusing the firm of perverting our own domestic laws to effectively unwind the prescription of a terrorist group. She rightfully pointed out they're supporting the most awful people who want to do the country harm.
In my opinion, an agreement for an American military base there would be welcomed. This is a matter of survival for us.
The destruction of the dollar will be charged a 150% tariff, and we don't want your goods, we don't want to partake.
Hamas cynically claims their transition to a political process is hindered by the terrorism label, conveniently ignoring their brutal tactics, Iranian backing, and systematic targeting of civilians. This isn't political evolution, it's an attempt to normalise violence through legal technicalities. What's most troubling is Starmer's deafening silence. While Hamas exploits our democratic principles against us, the Prime Minister offers no moral leadership, no defence of our values, no reassurance to the British public that our legal system won't be weaponised by those who seek to harm us. This isn't happening in isolation. The pattern is unmistakable. Whether facing economic aggression from America or legal manipulation from terrorists, Starmer appears incapable of mounting a robust defence of British interests. The consequences extend far beyond courtrooms. Without decisive leadership, we risk normalising these challenges, emboldening both economic competitors and security threats.
I'm not sure I like that, but that's okay. Very, very special person.
Two countries when it comes to prosperity and security, and I know that together we will strengthen that even further. And
the twin crises of tariffs and Hamas's legal challenge represent a fundamental test of prime ministerial leadership. Can Starmer defend both our prosperity and our principles simultaneously? Current evidence suggests not. His reluctance to engage directly on either front reveals a concerning pattern of avoidance when confronted with complex challenges requiring moral clarity.
And there's not much we can do about that. We can't help that. I said, oh, we can help it. So when I came in, the first thing I said is any BRIC state that even mentions
Really wanted to be a conqueror and gain territories. After the Second World War, they would have gained a large part of the world. And they kept absolutely nothing.
As Starmer stands at this pivotal moment, his response to these dual challenges will determine his legacy. The British public isn't merely watching for diplomatic niceties, they're demanding a leader who can forcefully defend both economic interests and moral principles simultaneously. The coming weeks will reveal whether our Prime Minister possesses the backbone to confront these threats head-on. Will he finally pick up the phone to Trump about these devastating tariffs? Will he match Patel's clarity in confronting terrorism's abuse of our legal system? Britain's future demands leadership that recognises when diplomatic subtlety must give way to resolute defence of our national interests. Nothing less will suffice.